helping you to survive in difficult times. And this morning, my guest in the studio will help us to understand how we can survive in times like this. He leads Ishmael Yamson and Associates. Dr. Ishmael Yamson is in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
And thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So let's start from here. Business entities, business corporations, small-scale entrepreneurs surviving in these times, is it doable? Can they survive?
Well, they can, and they can't. And that is the essence of the program we shall be running next week.
Right.
Which we have advertised, of course. Last year, we did a program about the audacity to transform the economy of Ghana, because we believe that we need to think about this country in a very different way. We can't do the same things and expect different results. This year, we want to focus on how to operate, whether you are in a profit organization or a non-profit organization. How do you survive in times like these? Whether externally or internally, times are really very difficult. And for companies in this country, I must say, majority of them are really struggling. So we thought we should spend a day brainstorming and sharing our ideas with them to help people, and especially executives, to understand what are the issues and how they should grapple with those issues and how they should succeed.
So they're struggling not because of their own internal structures or systems, but the microenvironment isn't supportive.
Well, I probably would say that the microenvironment is 80% of the issue. Most companies, and every company will have internal problems. But if you look at our economy, I call it the staircase, elevators, and lifts. If you look at the last 15, 20 years, we've been going step by step. Sometimes we make a leap, and the lifts bring us down. And every time we have come down, it takes us minimum 3 years to begin to find our feet again.
And that's a long time.
It's a long time. And therefore, that's why you can see that in 2011, 2012, in fact, started from 2010, when the whole excitement about oil, Ghana was booming. And Ghana suddenly was one of the 7 fastest growing economies in the world. In 2014, we recorded one of the lowest growths in our 25 years history.
We couldn't manage the success.
No, we couldn't. So we live in a country with discontinuities. You know, 1 year we are doing well, the next year we are down. So we really, if you're a businessman, you need to understand how to succeed in an economy such as ours, with so many uncertainties, so many discontinuities. Of course, if you're a politician, you speak a different language.
Right.
But as a businessman, I should tell you that if you look at all the indicators, we've never been able to sustain growth. We've never been able to sustain prosperity. And if you take an average Ghanaian, his personal well-being is being quite inconsistent over the years.
But despite this, you are confident businesses can thrive. They can survive.
Because there are, and in this program, we will showcase 2 companies that have survived
in this
environment.
Times.
And I can tell you that in my own time as a young, dynamic executive, the years that we did best in accountants were the years of great difficulties in the economy. Fundamentally, you need to understand what is wrong with the economy. If you understand what is wrong with the economy, which is, for me, 80% of the issue, you can survive.
What is wrong
with this economy? Of course, there are quite a number of things, but let me give you 3 key issues as I can see them.
Right.
I think we have over the years, pursued very inconsistent macroeconomic policies, both fiscal and monetary. And I don't have to take it far back. 3-4 years ago, when the central bank began to meddle in the foreign exchange policy framework, you saw what happened. It was capital flight, the cedi collapsed. But these are things that we should have known, that we can't do these things and get away with them. I thought that we have gone through 5 restructuring programs in Ghana.
Right.
Indeed, we have had more than 13 times of consolidation programs in Ghana in the last 40 years or so.
And yet we are where we are.
We are now consolidating again. So we need to have a sustainable economy. If you're a businessman, you are investing for the next 25 years, the next 30 years, the next 40 years, the next 50 years. Asajifo Kwame Nkrumah commissioned the factory in Tema. The Tema factory is still there. What that means is that for an investor, the long term is very important. So it's important that we think about how to build a sustainable economy and not how to build or manage an economy on a 4-year term cycle, which follows our political cycles. Because if you look at all the graphs, you can see a government comes into power, the first 4 years, okay. The next 4 years, a disaster. Then we start all over again. And we've seen it term over term over term over term. And I think it is time we stopped doing politics with our country and managing this country professionally.
So the organizations that will attend this program will be told how to address these things.
They will be told how to address these things. Indeed, what I will do, because I will open the program, is to let people understand what our past have been and what our present is and how uncertain the future can be unless we do things differently. We've got professionals who then will take participants through what they must do in this environment. And then we will showcase companies which have succeeded in very difficult and uncertain times. So it's a program that I think if you're an entrepreneur, you should. And let me just take this opportunity to say, okay, if you can take this number down, if you're an entrepreneur, the first 20 people who will call this number will have free tickets to attend.
To attend.
So I can leave the number with you and you can call it out.
We'll do that, Adi. But,
yes.
But let's stay on this. So if the picture you've painted, what would you say to businesses that say, the economy is in tatters, I am packing out, I'm shutting down, I'm asking people to go?
Well, I think already a lot of companies have shut down. And a lot of companies are in great difficulty.
Were they right in shutting down?
It depends on the type of business you have. If you are a briefcase businessman, definitely it's easy to pack up and go. If you have built a factory, it's not so easy to close your factory down and go. What you will do is to do things that will help you survive. But let me say that I don't believe that the businesses must overreact. I think businesses must react professionally to the environment. First of all, what are the core issues to your company? Because every company is different. For instance, if I'm managing a state organization which is all focused on making profit, my issues are different from if I'm managing a company that is, profit oriented, right? And I think, first of all, I believe that what companies must understand is that every company has cost. Some costs are inevitable. They are fixed. Some costs you can do away with. In times like this, take a comb and go through all your cost elements and see what things can I stop doing and what things can I continue to do. So you need to understand and to be ruthless about cost. You also need to understand how you build competitiveness into your economy, into your business. Because you cannot just assume that people will come and buy your products and services if you are not as attractive as the consumer wants. So there are issues about competitiveness, about cost, about your product itself. Your product itself must be a product that your consumer would like. If you are a service provider, people should be able to access your service. All right? So there are a number of things that you can do. Above all, the very people who work in that company, if the leader of that company can motivate his own or her own staff to the extent that they are prepared to die for that company, they don't even think about the difficulties of the company. They only think about how can we make this company succeed and survive even in these difficult times. So people become very critical in times like this. Very, very, very. I probably would say 90% of the time you must be thinking about how do I get my people to die for this company. Let them think as if this company is for themselves as it is for the shareholders. That is at the core of many things. And it's all different from running a country. If a leader, a president, a minister is thinking that I'm going this way, when all the people who are turning this way, you are going to succeed. So you must be able to bring the people along with you. And you can do that when you are credible to your people, when your people can trust you. When you say that I'll do this, I'll do it, and don't do the things that you are telling them not to do. Then you are likely to motivate your people, and you will succeed. Those are a few of the things
that those who will be attending will have the opportunity to get to know and feel the practical examples. But let me put this number there before I come back to you. Now 0244989012 is the number, and the first 20 entrepreneurs who call this number will get free access to the program. 0244989012 0244989012. So the next week is the program, 28th is the program, of July. And where is it? And exactly which form is it going to take?
Well, the program is at Best Western Hotel.
Right.
And it will start at, excuse me, 9 o'clock on the dot. And when I say 9, I mean 9 o'clock. We will start with an opening session where I will lay the context of the course. We then have two professionals who will deliver their own papers on the things that we have discussed. Then we have two people representing two companies which have been very successful over the years, whether there are difficult times or there are no difficult times. In the afternoon, we are devoting 1.5 hours for participants to ask any question they want to ask, irrespective of companies or organizations they come from. We will sit there with our team to take questions and give answers to participants.
And that's how the program will go.
Yes.
Right. Before we wrap up our conversation, so those coming to the program and the expectations, you have some 2 minutes to tell them what to expect, what to look out for, and perhaps why they should be.
I think you should come because whether you like it or not, the difficulties we see in this economy are not going to pass away today, tomorrow, even within a year. It's a truth we must tell people. So you should be prepared as a business person. You should be prepared as the head of any institution to understand that you are going to live in difficult times for quite some time. Then you should understand why you are in the difficult times. What are the issues that affect your organization? And find an understanding for those issues. And then, as I've said earlier, make sure that when you put together the strategies and plans to resolve those issues, people will be your #1 target.
And I'm sure the last thing you tell them is not to close down.
Not to close down. Not to close down. Have faith. I've known that hope is not a strategy and will never be a strategy. But if you back hope with action, you will succeed.
0244989012. That's the number you can call and you get free access to the program kickstarting on 28. Dr. Ishmael Yamson leads Ishmael Yamson and Associate. Doc, grateful for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for joining us. And of course, you can find out more on the program. Just call into the number 0244989012 and you get free access and also any other information that you would want.